Good Monday morning and welcome to Wisconsin Weather Experts. I'm here with Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell. And Rob, it's been a busy morning.
That's right. In fact, it's afternoon now. That's how much of a morning. It's been a long day. So, yeah, it still kind of feels like a morning. You were out there today. Great job this morning with our, of course, trafficologist Jeff View doing the thing. There's you in our fancy new truck that has the multi-cam setup there, allows you to ride in the passenger seat and be able to work many of the cameras and get out there and check out many of our area roadways, which were evolving this morning. Let's put it that way. It was rough when you started.
It really was. So when we first went out there, and really depended on where you were. Inland counties, which had the bigger impact, there was a lot of ice from the precipitation last night.
I heard a lot about that on social media. A lot of my followers saying, hey, it's just black ice out here in fill in the blank county.
And when the plows were clearing the snow off, they couldn't clear the ice. So even though they were treating the roads, the treatment didn't kick in yet. They got the snow off, but it was just a sheet of ice. So it was really hard to drive.
Right? I mean, it was colder too, so that it's going to slow down how well the road salts work. It's not so cold that they don't work, but it's not going to work in a hurry when it's like 14, 18 degrees out there.
We did see some cars ending up in the ditch as well, which was not good to see. But I will say for the most part, besides some cars, including our own vehicle, sliding a little bit, the roads weren't terrible enough when people were heading out that they weren't heeding those warnings, right? We had a lot of space between other vehicles, which made me very happy, but definitely was not the best commute. And I think what we're going to be concerned with going forward now is all of the added brine, salt that's been melting some of the snow and ice today, and the sun, that's going to refreeze in areas tonight. So that could be
next
another
couple of
problem.
nights, particularly New Year's Eve, and we'll get to our extended regional forecast in just a little bit, but we do have some colder air in place. We weren't alone dealing with poor driving conditions. Our friends down the road, great video of the blowing and drifting into parts of Illinois. We appreciate our partners at Fox Chicago posting us this video right here. They've got a great idea of what they were dealing with down the road in the windy city. You know, the roads, of course, not good at all, but all we had to deal with was snow and some rain over the last little while. In Illinois over the weekend, tornado warnings. This video shows the aftermath of a possible tornado, which I believe has now been verified in Long Creek, Illinois. I'll have to double check on that, but we'll get the details from the National Weather Service. But Long Creek, Illinois is in central part of Illinois. At least one roof was ripped off and several homes were badly damaged. Thankfully, no reports of injuries, at least not at this point.
And I was watching a lot of that evolve yesterday because I know people. That is one of my old viewing areas as well. I used to work in a long time ago, but there was many tornado warnings. They had 70 degrees, dew points in the mid to upper 60s at times. And again, south of Decatur is where they had some of those warnings. There was also warnings and a lot of damage in areas like Pontiac, Illinois, heading towards Kankakee. So again, a lot of locations that you wouldn't assume severe weather could happen in December, but that just goes to show that it can really happen at any time of the year.
Even here in Wisconsin, we've had a tornado in every calendar month of the year, so it can happen. Tragically, it happened on a very busy football day, so our partners on the Fox affiliates and the Fox stations had that to deal with. We send our heartfelt understanding out because for us, we don't want to interrupt the football game any more than you want us to, but it is a life-threatening event.
But even for us here, we had to have our crawl system on, which I know, some were not happy about, but we had warnings, winter storm warnings for our northern counties, and it's also important just to make sure that everyone's prepared no matter what the weather is.
It is part of our job, it's part of our licensing agreement, so it is what it is. But I also get why you're grumpy and you want to watch a football game. If it's
I know, it's Sunday, a big day.
I get it, right? Our good friends over at Fox Weather helping us out today, too.
Yeah, they were. Robert Ray, he was in New York City, and they were embracing a winter snow globe over the weekend as people continued their holiday festivities. Of course, you can see them bundling up, taking selfies, enjoying the early start of those flakes as they were on the ground. And now that being said, New York, we're going to talk about that coming up, is getting more snow heading into this weekend. And another area not too far from that, not easy to walk around or fly around, it was in Newark Liberty International Airport. You can see crews there were trying to clear the tarmac for planes, and you can't even see any of the painted portions. So they're definitely having some flight delays there over the weekend, but crews were at it. Even dealing with a little bit of snow, of course, can impact your flights.
Sure, slow. And then the one little delay here, and it's a domino effect through the whole air system. Locals were also out clearing sidewalks and driveways in that part of the country as well. They had 3 to 5 inches of snow that fell before more arrived in the area, and we'll see more there, as you just pointed out, a little later on this week as well.
Yeah, we know that too, right? You having the snowblowers out this time of year. Well, it may not have been fun and games for all people, but some adults and kids did take advantage, right? This is what I like to see, of the freshly fallen snow by sledding in Fort Tryon Park, which is in Washington Heights in Manhattan. Of course, you like to take advantage of the winter weather any way you can. It's only here for a short period of time, so it's good to see a lot of the kids getting out and enjoying.
The kids always lean in on the positive side. And New York City, Manhattan in particular, has far more parks than you would expect when you think about Manhattan. And now we're hearing from the man who helped save the lives of a car full of people as it came close to falling. Look at this video.
That's
came close to falling off an embankment on Highway 50 in the middle of snowy conditions. Dash cam video showing what happened. Family's car lost control and was turned over on the side of the highway between them and a Good Samaritan who jumped in without hesitation. That person happened to be Staff Sergeant Ruben Tala, stationed at Travis Air Force Base in the area.
Wow.
Look at that near Lake Tahoe, if you're familiar with the area, Highway 50. What a scary few moments, and what wonderful news to have a Good Samaritan with the abilities that, a sheriff obviously has, or deputy sheriff, I can't remember the rank, but, anybody could have come over and helped, but someone who actually has some skills and some connections, that's the best kind of help you're going to get.
That's my biggest fear. I think when you drive in some areas of Colorado too, I mean, there are no guardrails, and when you're driving, I always wonder, how do cars maneuver? I mean, you really have to have a four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive vehicle.
Well, they advise chains a lot of times. Sometimes they won't even let you through.
Some states can't have.
That's true. Don't allow them in most areas here, but in the mountain passes, it's kind of a necessity, or you just simply can't go through that. All right, back here at home, we got through pretty well today. We've got a couple things coming up, so let's go to our regional outlook.
Yeah, let's take a look what's going on. Of course, visibility, it is a lot better than what we had this morning, right? Some areas have a light, fresh blanket of snow, if you could even measure how much you saw, because the strong winds, that's been picking up that light snow and blowing it around, again, making measuring it very difficult, but also driving difficult, because that snow has been blowing around and causing brief moments of very low visibility. Of course, we can see a lot better right now, and even with the clouds in place, we have seen a few peaks of sunshine evolve over the past few hours. The big story now goes that as this occluded low pressure system continues to lift into portions of New England, we are going to be having more issues for our eastern states of the United States. Of course, ahead of this, we've been tracking a lot of freezing rain. The snow that we had is now going to pull into Michigan and the Ohio River Valley, as well as the Great Lakes region, creating more snow and blustery conditions behind it. Take a look at the winter headlines that are still spread across areas from the UP, including Wisconsin, and heading towards areas near Maine, with winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings, and we also have this in other areas of the country near Texas, which we're going to talk about momentarily. In addition to this system producing snow and frozen precipitation, it's also producing significantly strong winds. Now, here locally, we've been under a wind advisory as well. We've even had some gusts in the 50-mile-per-hour range, and we're going to expect that as the system continues to ride off to the east with wind gusts that could be 45 to 60 miles an hour. Now, 60-mile-per-hour winds, that's what we would see in a severe thunderstorm warning. So this is a very strong system, creating high wind warnings and wind advisories across many areas. So the multiple impacts that we've been dealing with here locally in Wisconsin this morning, that again is going to be the big story across the Great Lakes and heading towards the Northeast. Another area we don't talk about too much in terms of snowfall, that is going to be New Mexico. Southeastern portions of New Mexico heading near Midland, Texas, south of Odessa as well. That's where we are tracking winter weather right now. now where there is also winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings and even a blizzard warning in the panhandle portions of Texas. Now, snow could be 1 to 6 inches, which may not seem much for us here locally in Wisconsin, but for these areas, it is a big situation, especially since they don't have all the materials like we do in terms of the brine, the salt, the crews to help clear some of those roads. So again, we're continuing to track that there. Obviously, with some of the winter weather across the country, that's going to be the big story, and we'll continue to talk about winter weather here in the state of Wisconsin. Let's take a look at the upcoming days, because while most of the snow's out of here, a couple flurries still possible as we're heading through the afternoon. Most of the state will just continue to have some breaking of the clouds as we head through tonight. But there's going to be 2 more shortwave disturbances that could bring us some snow statewide. The first one looks to move in Tuesday for the first half of the day until about noon for northern portions of Wisconsin. Then notice that very weak disturbance is going to start to move towards eastern and southern portions of Wisconsin heading into Tuesday late afternoon. Now, this first system is not going to bring a lot of snow, maybe 1/2 inch to 1 inch max, but it is still snow that you might need to do a little shoveling or pulling out that brush for. Then as we head towards Tuesday night, we'll have a lull in activity before that second disturbance moves in, bringing just a few more scattered snow showers from northwest to southeast as we head through the day on Wednesday. And then we'll gradually clear the clouds out, and reinforcing northerly winds will really pull in the cold air by the time we're here to celebrate New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Now, that cold air has already started to progress around that low, pulling in from the north, but this is just the beginning of the many days ahead where that cold air is going to be around. In fact, right now in the upper Midwest, including Milwaukee, we have the coldest temperatures in the nation, and we are having temperatures in the double digits colder than yesterday at this time. We'll continue to track some of the teens to 20s across the upper Midwest for the highest temperatures today. And looking ahead for your high temperature trend, we are going to favor more below average temperatures for this time of year. We will see temperatures ranging anywhere from 5 to 15 degrees colder than where we should be, with the coldest day, Rob, looking to be on New Year's Day. So not the best. And we didn't even mention factoring in that wind. We could be having those wind chills below 0. Right. So, being a female, we like to get dolled up, wear dresses out.
So do the guys these days.
Dresses too, there we go.
Yeah.
Have you worn a dress on New Year's Eve? Is that's...
Possibly.
Yeah, maybe.
I predate social media, so maybe, and I'm not going to confirm it.
Yeah,
but no. But my point is that, yeah, you're right. Like, a lot of people like to get dressed up.
Right.
And a lot of those outfits, whether they're male or female, don't really include big, heavy coats and hats and mitts. You're right. Particularly the more typical, New Year's Eve gowns and things like that are particularly challenging. And New Year's Eve, single digits.
Cold.
I mean, the high on New Year's Day is going to be brutal. But when people are out and about, and a lot of people will be New Year's Eve night, it'll be brutally cold. Now, if you're out, of course, bundle up later on this week, bundle up through most of the week, and if you have to drive at any point in the next few days in the ice and the snow, just a few reminders about how to handle these kind of conditions. First and foremost, be sure to just take it slow. Do not go full throttle when you're driving on the sleet and the ice and the snow that's out there. If you do lose traction, ease off the gas, keep your eyes on the road, and steer gently in the direction of the skid in order to correct it and regain control. Then slowly straighten out from there. Don't slam on the brakes if you feel like you're losing traction. Also, be sure to give yourself extra room between you and the car in front of you. Also, avoid using cruise control during the snowstorms. All great tips. Hopefully you won't need them. Everything will go smoothly for you. We'll go smoothly into a quick commercial break and be right back with more Wisconsin weather experts. Stick around. All right, welcome back to Wisconsin Weather Experts right here on Fox Local and the Fox 6 YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you get all the updates and get alerts when we put new content out there that you might want to check out. Now, we have great viewers to this show, to all of our Fox 6 shows, and we always get fantastic questions and ideas. Alan Fredonia had a great great question recently. He said, why, with an approaching storm, why does it take the highest wind velocity and barometric pressure to occur? Like, why does it take so long for the higher wind speeds to kick in? He says it always seems like there's a 2 or 3 hour delay between the arrival of the low and reaching the threshold of the warnings. And the answer is that the wind is caused by that change in air pressure, or what we call a pressure gradient. And when the low is directly over top of us, there actually isn't much of a pressure gradient, kind of like being in the eye of a hurricane, right?
Yeah.
You're kind of in the one calm spot, and then as you move to one side of the low or the other, there's an increase in the pressure. You get a bigger pressure gradient, you get a stronger wind across our area.
Yeah, and it's easy, you know, when you look at a map, and sometimes we do talk about it, we have the air moving from high to low, and that's when you'll see the increase of winds. Typically when we are dealing with some of our strongest winds, whether that be we are under an advisory, a warning or not, it's going to be in between when that low is moving through. So it's not exactly directly over us. For example, let's take today. That low's moving away from us, and we have the high wind that we're dealing with today. So it's a great analogy to have that center of the hurricane eye as an example.
Idea, but on a micro scale.
Yeah.
So great question, Al. We're going to take a deeper look actually at wind speeds and pressure gradients with Chief Meteorologist Tom Walks.
Well, sometimes we'll see graphics like this. Look at all the color here. The winds can sometimes gust to near 50 miles per hour, if not more than that. The map here showing tropical storm force wind gusts in many areas. But wait, how can this happen? Number one, an absence of a tropical storm. And number two, how do we get all these winds in such a broad area? Sometimes we'll get strong winds coming out of thunderstorms, right, in the summertime. But this is broad, right? This isn't just one area that's getting strong winds. This is area-wide. Well, let's talk about how this happens. So this is what we call gradient winds or pressure gradient winds. This is happening on a broad scale. So unlike thunderstorms, for example, which would be a very small scale, or a tropical storm, which would still be somewhat of a broader scale, but still a small scale, this is a much larger scale, what we call synoptic scale in meteorology. So let's dive into this a little bit. We have high pressure in this case down to the south and low pressure up to the northeast. Now, the way to look at this map is in Texas, pretend like you're at the top of a hill and you're looking down towards the area of low pressure. Now, another way to kind of conceptualize air pressure is high pressure, there's more air pushing down on you. Low pressure, there's not as much air pushing down on you. Kind of like when you go into an airplane, right? And they pressurize the cabin because as you go up, the air pressure gets lower. So they've got to pressurize the cabin to make sure that, you know, as humans, we're used to a certain air pressure, right? So you can kind of conceptualize it a bit that way. Well, how does air pressure relate to winds? Well, a change in that air pressure is what causes wind on the broad scale. So when you get stuck in between an area of high pressure and low pressure, the stronger that pressure system is, the stronger the gradient or the change, the pressure gradient as it's known in meteorology is. Now, as you look at these black lines, this is what we use in meteorology. If you're a pilot, if you have pilot friends, they've seen these maps before with isobars on them. What does that mean? Isobars are lines of equal barometric pressure. So the closer the lines are together, the windier it is. So again, a change in air pressure is what causes wind. Now, high pressure, you have clockwise clockwise wind flow flowing around it. Low pressure, you have counterclockwise winds flowing around it. So in this case, our wind is coming more out of the westerly direction because of the placement of these various air masses and pressure systems. So you can tell a lot just by looking at this one map. Number one, the lines are very close together, so it's windy, but then you can also tell the direction of the wind based upon the various pressure systems as well. So that, in turn, is what causes wind. Again, it's a change in air pressure, but let me go back to the beginning. Let me go back to this other graphic that we looked at a moment ago. Unlike thunderstorms, where again, that's a totally different process on a small scale, when you get strong winds on a broad scale like this, so strong winds for everyone, often it doesn't have to do with thunderstorms. It has to do with the pressure setup across the country, what we call synoptic or broad scale meteorology. So pretty interesting there. Again, every system is different, but when we watch for strong winds, area-wide, we're often watching for that big pressure difference.
There we go. Hopefully that explains the answer and Al's question a little bit more, too.
We appreciate the question, Al, and we'll be back. We've got a little bit more weather experts for you on the other side. If you ever have a question like Al's, please hit us up. Hit the QR code that's right there on the TV screen. It'll take you right through to a form that comes straight through to us. Be right back.
Well, welcome back to Wisconsin Weather Experts. We've been talking a lot about snow as we've been heading into the holiday season. And if you're in the mood where you want to take down your Christmas tree,
time to move on.
We have a place you could put it. Now, I'm not taking mine down till Valentine's Day, but the city of Milwaukee does want to help you dispose your trees properly. Christmas tree collection is happening through January 31st, so hey, you can still keep it up for another month. You can request a pickup at milwaukee.gov, the MKE mobile action app, or by calling 414-286-CITY. Trees need to be cleared of all decorations, of course, and cannot be bagged. You can also drop off your trees at the city's drop-off centers. Again, a great thing if you want to dispose your tree properly and safely and not just throw it out your window, which I have seen people leave it on their front yards or by the curb.
Although if you have a backyard, you can also use it as a way to put things out for the birds.
Oh, can I drop off my mini tree then?
Sure, just put it out there. The birds love it. It's, it's nesting and storage for them. But get it out of your house before it dries up and becomes a complete fire hazard. Now, there's a giant snowman towering over a small village in what's called Milltown is the name of the little village. Look at that. How cute is that? This is Jeffrey, the snowman. Perfect name for a snowman. He stands 6'7" feet tall, kids. 6'7".
Oh my gosh.
He's 56 feet of snow with an 11-foot tall cowboy hat. The creators remake Jeffrey every year, and this is the biggest one yet. Visitors are welcome to stop by and see him during the day or night. Plus, they accept donations, which go toward the local high school scholarships. Jeffrey the Snowman, that's got to be my favorite name for a snowman. Jeffrey the Snowman on Facebook, if you want to check it out, and you can see the transformation of Jeffrey each and every
You think
year.
they did the 6'7" on purpose?
I'm
67
thinking
feet.
they probably did.
Man.
I think they probably did. It's just taken, if I remember anything about 2025, it'll be how 6'7" took over the entire
don't get
year.
it. Is it a song?
This is an ongoing meme that just became nonsense that the kids love because we don't know what's going on and they love confusing us.
Well, you know what? Maybe when 67's in the forecast for a high one day,
That's right.
We'll get comments about
When the
it.
snowfall
Not
is
this time of
6'7".
year. Oh, gosh.
I saw that all day yesterday. Anytime we were down at the college hockey event down at Fiserv, and anytime a kid was on the big screen, it was, they all doing the 6'7", 6'7", and it had nothing to do with anything. But hey, fortunately we did not get 6-7 inches worth of snow, and we do have some blowing to deal with, but we'll see you back here on the big show tomorrow.